The relationship between a generational superstar and an utterly inept coaching staff has a fundamental breaking point. With LeBron James, we have seen it occur in the NBA. With Kobe Bryant, we have seen it occur. With Michael Jordan, we have seen it firsthand. The friction eventually results in an explosion when a basketball player with a genius level of processing skills is made to work inside a system created by someone who hardly knows modern geometry. That explosion was just captured on camera for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Welcome back. Here at WNBA Pro, we're dissecting the most explosive, contentious, and profoundly illuminating sideline video that has emerged during the entire 2026 WNBA season. We are discussing the precise moment when Caitlin Clark finally lost it. At that precise moment, she turned away from the PR playbook and told the Indiana Fever coaching staff how tired she was of their pure sabotage. The locker room culture in Indianapolis is aggressively burning to the ground. So if you thought that vacant seats were the worst issue, get ready. Context is crucial. So let's set the scene. The Indiana Fever defeated the Seattle Storm 89-78. Caitlin Clark practically set up her own offensive scheme out on the court during the game. She dominated the game's flow while scoring 21 points and providing 10 assists. The Indiana Fever were a plus 11 in the first half when Clark was actively directing the offense and making calls. They were in control. However, numerous reports and insiders with knowledge of the group claim that head coach Stephanie White was enraged. Why would a head coach be upset about her team's 11-point victory? Because the way they were winning infuriated her. According to reports, Stephanie White was furious that Caitlin Clark had essentially taken over the offense and abandoned the antiquated, slow-paced, micromanaged scheme that the coaching staff had been frankly attempting to force-feed her all season. At that point, the fight was captured on camera.
With her coaches, she looks like she's done with their BS and attempt to micromanage everything she does. This coaching staff is not fit to coach a modern style player. Let's watch this. So this is the video. Caitlin Clark is going off, bro.
The video is unprocessed. It is indisputable. A very strong and furious disagreement between Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever coaching staff is captured on camera. She's clearly frustrated. She's shouting with her body language. She is making crazy gestures, defending herself, giving an explanation, and actively resisting whatever outdated advice is being shouted at her. She doesn't give up. She lashes out at them. She continues to speak. She continues to defend her basketball IQ, her pace, and her readings. She also seemed to be fully finished with their foolishness. The Stephanie White supporters in the mainstream media will try to discredit Caitlin Clark as soon as they see this video. This is a bad look, they will say. She cannot be coached. She is being disrespectful to authorities. She must comply. I want to be really clear about this. This video is the greatest thing you have seen all year if you are an Indiana Fever fan. This isn't a player acting like a diva. This is the best offensive mind in women's collegiate basketball history, resisting the coaching staff's attempts to have her play a stale circle motion offense from the 1990s. Caitlin Clark moves through the floor more quickly than the clipboard holders. Before the defense even starts the weak side rotation, she notices it. Additionally, a player with that degree of brilliance has a professional duty to respond when a coaching staff tries to micromanage every single dribble, every single pass, and every single shot.
And she kept talking to her, and she's still snapping on her, bro. Snapping on them, bro. Keep that energy, demon. Please delete this. It's going to turn against CC. You new to this? I don't think this should be deleted, bro. I don't. Because we know.
We have been monitoring the sabotage for weeks. In the midst of a hot streak, we saw Stephanie White bench Caitlin Clark. In a press conference, we saw White deliberately decline to acknowledge Clark's historic 17-point explosion in the fourth quarter. We saw White draw up the game-tying shot for Kelsey Mitchell, a player who had 0 assists at the end of several games. We are now witnessing the precise psychological damage that sabotage is causing to the franchise athlete. Caitlin Clark has had enough. The supporters have had enough. The whole basketball community is tired of seeing a Ferrari driven like a golf cart. Additionally, the fan following is responding to this video aggressively. The comment sections are a veritable battlefield. The Resistance and the Doom FC are organizing. If you are a Stephanie White fan, you are not a Caitlin Clark fan. Fans are saying, easy, unfollow. They are aware of the reality that the mainstream media ignores. It is becoming painfully and blatantly clear that Stephanie White did not truly want to coach Caitlin Clark. Rather, she accepted the head coaching position in Indianapolis because she wanted to become associated with the franchise's heritage and media attention. She wanted to be the star. She wants the team to succeed because of her defensive guru method. Additionally, she is intentionally penalizing Clark for defying a system that is ineffective in contemporary WNBA. But what makes this situation so intolerable is the coaching staff's blatant hypocrisy. Stephanie White, who had earlier refused to acknowledge Clark's excellence, took the podium for the post-game press conference after the game. White abruptly tried to play nice, knowing that the room was boiling and that the fan base was carrying out a significant financial boycott that left 3,000 seats unfilled.
League game we've seen from Caitlin probably in the 10 months in her return, only needed a couple threes, only 5 shots, led in every one of those categories. What to you seems like the most back or the furthest along maybe in her time back?
I think her burst. I think her burst. I think you can see it not just in taking off with the ball in her hands, but you can see it in the lift in her shot. You can see she looks strong. She looks like loaded in her actions. I think you can tell it by the way she's getting to the free throw line too. So I just think her movement patterns and her burst are back.
She was questioned by a reporter on Caitlin Clark's remarkably effective performance. Finally, the master of political diversion, Stephanie White, gave some phony praise. She discussed Clark's outburst. In her shot, she discussed her lift. She looks strong, she remarked. She acts in a loaded manner. Her burst and movement patterns have returned. Don't let this PR spin deceive you. The reality of what was captured on the sideline camera should not be erased by the abrupt, forced compliments. Because the coaching staff has little influence over Caitlin Clark's physical characteristics, Stephanie White is applauding her strength, burst, and movement patterns. But take note of what she failed to commend. Caitlin Clark's basketball IQ was not commended by her. Clark's ability to read the defense was not commended by her. Because admitting Caitlin Clark's brilliance would be an admission of her own strategic failure, she refrained from praising Clark's choice to take charge of the offense and create a huge +1 advantage in the first half. White is glad to describe Clark as a fantastic athlete, but the reason for the altercation on the sidelines is because she won't give up control of the offensive. While the coaching staff is attempting to prevail in a power war, Clark is attempting to win basketball games. You are intentionally creating a poisonous culture when your coaching staff is more focused on controlling the narrative and enforcing a system than they are on making the most of their franchise player. While the most valuable asset in their franchise's history is publicly battling for a career on the sidelines, the Simon family ownership group, Amber Cox, and Kelly Croscott are doing nothing.
Having 5 people on a string.
What'd you like about seeing that starting group, and kind of to that end, you've changed your rotation up every single game to some extent. What do you feel like you're still trying to learn with this group this year?
Well, we're 4 games in with a lot of new pieces, so we're trying to figure out what the best combination of players is for the best net outcome. We know we got people that can score, we got some players that can defend, but we've got to have consistency throughout the course of the game. So we're trying to figure that out.
And the coaching staff's justifications are running extremely low. We're 4 games in with a lot of new pieces, so we're trying to figure out what the best combination of players is for the best net outcome. White asserted when questioned about the strange rotation adjustments. After 4 games, you're a highly compensated professional basketball coach. Understanding your staff before the season starts is part of your job description. When your star player is pleading with you to let the offense flow, you don't use live regular season WNBA games to try out totally dysfunctional lineups. Caitlin Clark's sideline outburst is the ultimate red flag. It is the red flare that was sent into the night sky. She will not put up with the sabotage in silence. While a head coach with an ego issue intentionally attempts to ruin her career, she will not smile courteously for the cameras. The front office must make a huge, multi-million-dollar decision while she fights back. Do you support the outdated, unyielding coaching staff that is currently in charge of thousands of empty seats and a large fan boycott? Or do you support the multi-generational superstar who brought your franchise back from the dead? You can't have both. The point of no return has been reached by the friction. How do you feel about the sideline video that was leaked? Do you believe that Caitlin Clark should conform to Stephanie White's system, or is her outburst at the coaching staff entirely justified? How much longer can the front office continue to overlook this enormous, widely reported power struggle? In the comments section below, share your most explosive, unvarnished opinion. We read each and every one. You know exactly what to do if you want the unvarnished truth about the WNBA that the networks are frantically trying to conceal. Click the subscribe button now. Make sure you never miss a deep dive documentary breakdown by destroying the notification bell. We are recording every moment of the official start of the Indianapolis Civil War. WNBA Pro is this. We'll see you in the upcoming